You are live.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. We are going to get to the big announcement soon, but you'll see my guest. We got former two-time heavyweight champion Tim Witherspoon, the real Rocky.
Hold on. It
Holy
says
cow.
you deleted your stream.
Oh, hang on. Oh, okay, I clicked go live. Oh no, I deleted the other. Ah, shit. Am I not live?
Go live. It won't let me go live.
It looks like this stream was deleted or just removed. Okay, let me I should be able to re-add it. Cuz I deleted the one that was made today, not the one that was made the other day.
Oh, there's people here. You're live. Can everybody hear David?
Me, though, right?
Yeah, it's live. They're hearing you.
Oh, hey guys, can you actually see me comment? Because I'm trying to figure out this thing with YouTube.
Jean-Claude Van Detty.
Yeah,
okay, I guess we're live. So anyway, let's start over. That first minute was screwed up. So we're going oh, Brian just disappeared, but we're going to get to the big announcement soon. Of course, you guys see former two-time heavyweight champion Tim Witherspoon.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Thanks for joining, Tim, and we'll get Brian back and some other guys. And these other guys that we're going to get on this live is part of the big announcement here. But let's just go over some of these comments real quick. Hey, Brian, if I click on one, it still doesn't show up on screen, by the way.
Okay, I'm going to give you access to all of that. I'll make a comment.
You want me to make one?
Yeah, I think you got to put a new one on there.
Oh, it says an error occurred that was a stream deleted on YouTube. Like,
they said they hear you.
Guys could see me.
They say they hear you.
Oh, but they don't see me.
Hello to the boys, Brian. Oh, your net went out.
Can you guys see? Can you guys see David, the Viking samurai? Hey, Bruce, can they see?
They can't hear you. They can't hear you. Fran just said they can't hear you.
They can't hear me?
Well, they said they can't hear. That's what Fran.
Oh, hang on. Let me.
They see the three of you. I see and hear all of you. You guys are all good.
Oh, that's weird because like the YouTube is telling me that like I'm not even in here. Like if I try to comment or whatever, but I mean, I guess if you guys
they can see him.
All right, I'll click on the questions then.
They can see him, but he's frozen. Somebody said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what somebody says. I hear you and I see
Everything is working fine. Just go with what Bruce says.
Okay.
Well, I'm clicking it myself here to see if I. Oh, okay. I could see everybody. I guess it's working.
Hold on, I got it here.
Anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties, guys, but
it's all good.
It's going to be really cool, regardless. Yeah, the show must go on, man.
Everything is working. Gym training said everything is working.
Okay, cool.
He's unfrozen.
So if we went over some of these questions, here's something actually funny, real quick that I'll address because somebody was asking as far as the big announcement goes.
You're good. So there you go.
I'm good, man. Somebody asked earlier if I was going to fight in the real Kumite. Funny ass story related to that, Frank Dukes, because the whole Michael Bisping thing and the Frank Dukes element. Frank actually asked me if I wanted to fight in the real Kumite, and I told him I really don't, because what I'm trying to do.
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
What's a Kumite? I'm sorry.
The Kumite, Tim. Of course, it's blood sport. It's underground fighting. It's no rules. Some people die.
Okay.
I'm not interested in that. I want a match that's going to be broadcast to a big audience because I'm trying to build my brand and my popularity. So doing an underground fight in the Kumite would make no sense. But anyway, it was funny that Frank would ask that. Hey, Charles is here.
What's up, Charles?
How's it going, David? How's it going, guys?
Great, man.
Sorry about the delay. Had a few technical domestic issues to resolve.
As he looks back there. We had some technical difficulties too, but guys, Charles is an expert in Cuban boxing. And for anyone that doesn't know, can you explain what that is, Charles, exactly?
Yeah, so basically, long story short, Russians came over to Cuba during the Cold War period, taught them the Soviet style of boxing. Cuba relatively only did professional boxing, and then through that they became like dominant in amateur boxing through a school system. So the same way how you learn maths, English, that was the system implemented by the Russians. obviously the Cubans with a bit of salsa flair, rhythm, and the systematic structure of the Russian Soviet school of boxing fused together meant that the next 60 years, Cuba would become dominant as, the Olympic champions, world champions of boxing, and obviously America closely followed. So yeah, that is pretty much it.
Very cool. And you were in Cuba recently. Can you talk about like the trip and some of the training you did out there?
Yeah, so I mean, we had a camp, a 3-week camp, and it was stationed at Rafael Trail. And Rafael Trail was like, the central area for boxing within Havana. And during that 3-week camp, they had the Pan American qualifiers. So not only did we get to see, national champions, but we also saw Olympic champions. So Roniel Iglesias. We also saw, Jose. I'm from Cuba. Yes, Jose. How's it going? And we saw Julio Cesar La Cruz. We also saw Arlen Lopez. So these are all previous Olympic gold medalists from 2020 in Tokyo. So yeah, it was hot. Literally walking probably about, say, 200 meters down the road, lost weight, so much weight. Yeah, and then you had to train. I mean, it was immense, but the quality of boxing there is phenomenal. Like you have a small island where you have almost a population of, I would say London, on one Caribbean island, and they have health issues, food issues, rations, because obviously the sanctions from America, but they still manage to have this kind of jovial spirit, relaxed demeanor throughout the day, when they're struggling to literally eat, and Cuban cigars, shout out to you, but that was one of the main things that I could see everyone, trying to mix around on the black market. The currency there is crazy. You never know how much money to carry, because it's like there's a black market of money, and then there's the currency that the government wants you to operate at. But it's just so crazy the way how you take £5 out on one day, that can get you through the whole day. £5 on another day, you're struggling. So it's just it's something like literally every day it's an adventure that you have to adapt to, but it's amazing. I would urge anyone to go there. Obviously the camps that we have, hopefully we can get even David to attend, if not for this fight, during the course of your expected journey throughout the future. So I would say, because your crowd knows you, my crowd is going to get to know you, but the development of your boxing, obviously with Tim, the specialist in the American style, old school style, fused with the Cuban amateur style. I mean, Mayweather's going to be looking at you soon, looking to offer you a fight.
That's the big announcement, guys. By the way, we got another guy coming shortly, should be joining us, but this is like the team and how serious I'm taking this. So of course, you're going to be doing the bulk, a lot of training with Tim in Philly, learning the Philly shell, and then of course Charles with Cuban boxing element, and also the other guy that's going to join us, Xavier Biggs. He's like, pretty much like the best pad man out there. So this is really legit with this team that I'm working with. So as far as the fight goes, you guys know about Jimmy Justice and the potential K1 kickboxing match. I already have the kicks, but all these guys are going to bring up the hands and the defense that I need. So the Jimmy fight, I just talked to the guy who's helping us put that on, by the way, Juan Barragan, and it's either going to be in late November in Dubai, or he said they might make it in January. If for whatever reason he doesn't pull through, then it's just going to be a proper boxing match with Jimmy. So either way, I'm going to fight Jimmy. I prefer kickboxing, but if it's just boxing, it doesn't matter, because I got this team, and I'm going to take the boxing a lot further next year after I beat Jimmy. So That's
Yeah, I
big
mean,
enough.
if it's boxing, it would be great for me and Tim because we can, give you more coaching tips based on, just knowing that you're going to be using your hands and your opponent will use the hands. But I know you yourself, specializing on kicks, you want there to be an element of kicking. That for me and Tim, that is scary. Sending someone in the ring, yeah, it's scary.
I got bad feet. I don't want to think about kicks.
Yeah, but the thing with the kickboxing match, so even if it ends up being kickboxing against Jimmy, the second fight, regardless, is going to be boxing because it's more mainstream, it's more popular. Plus, I really just want to devote myself to boxing. I've always wanted to do that, and this is like the perfect reason to, to really kind of like break out. And there's going to be, I'll tell people, and you guys can mark this video and this date. I'll tell people I'm going to have a big fight next year. And then, of course, you'll have the trolls and the haters. Oh, who are you? You're not going to have a big fight, this, that, I said, like last year, I said, I'm going to be the lead in a great action martial arts film. And people are like, oh, you're not going to do that. You're full of shit. Well, I'm literally in the middle of filming it. It's called Bloodstorm. You guys should follow the Instagram page, Bloodstorm Movie. It's pretty badass. The director, Rene Perez, already said it's his biggest and best movie yet. And I told him last year that I'm going to make his best movie with him. And, like he told me earlier this week, he said, a lot of people I work with say that, but you effing did it. I said, I told you, Rene. So when I'm like saying stuff, I'm not just talking. Like I'm going to make shit happen. And it's manifesting now. And it's going to manifest next year as well with the big fight. But first we get through Jimmy, regardless of if it's kickboxing or boxing. But the second fight is going to be pure boxing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The power of self-belief in manifesting things into reality goes a long way.
Exactly. Precisely.
By the way, Xavier's coming. He was having some technical issues at the gym.
Nice. Speaking of Xavier and how like legit and in demand he is, why don't you tell us some of the guys that he trains, Brian?
Usher, Kevin Hart, the owner of 9-round boxing gyms, which are global. They're all over the world. He trains all of their trainers before they're even allowed to run at one of their gyms. So he's got quite. His brother is Terrell Biggs. Tim, you knew him from Philly. I mean, his brother was a super heavyweight gold champion. He was a fighter.
Gold medal. He won the gold medal.
Here he is, right here.
We are going to.
Hey, there he is. What's up, Xavier?
Hey, Xavier.
Oh, hey, Xavier. Your mic is off.
Let me say this, that we all three trainers are going to try to put our knowledge together to try to help David, but we all have different styles, and so if it's going to be kind of difficult, we're going to have to really sit down and talk because we train each other differently. I train differently. I'm a trainer. Charles and Xavier, we're going to have to really put our knowledges together and see if it can work. So in boxing, it's kind of hard for three trainers to train one person. So we're just going to have to put our heads together. So I got a different style. Charles got a different style, and Xavier do. We don't want that to conflict with you, David. So we might have a team, but we just going to have to put it together and see how it could work. But not everybody uses three different trainers. So we're just going to have to put it together. My style is different. Charles's is different. And Xavier. So we're going to have to see if we can super pack and put you on the right track.
Oh, yes.
How you like that? Super pack. Put you on the right track.
Yeah, there you go, man. This is like the dream team of trailers. And the reason why we mentioned some of the guys that Xavier trains, it's like guys like Usher and Kevin Hart could literally train and have access to anybody they want, but they went with Xavier for a good reason. So I am a very disciplined, coachable person. I'm going to soak all this stuff up like a sponge and devote myself to it. So you're going to see a really, really big fight next year as a result of all that.
Yeah.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah,
we can hear you. We can hear you, Xavier.
I got my smoothie with everything in it.
I'm old school. I had to get this technique. I mean, I'm in the gym, so bear with me, y'all.
Yeah, we can hear.
Please check out Xavier's channel.
That's the lab.
He just started one.
Me and
It's,
Xavier had the old school teacher. I had Slim Robinson. I think he had Jimmy Arthur, right?
Jimmy Arthur, man.
Jimmy Arthur, and I had
Yeah.
Slim Robinson. They both was in the same gym, but they had different styles. So we're gonna see how we can fit that in to make so you go whip somebody's butt.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
For sure, man.
100%.
And
Compliment.
guys, this is also the team that's all part of the Circle of Legends. You want to talk about that, Brian? What the Circle of Legends is all about?
Yeah, the Circle of Legends encompasses all of the greatest boxing legends. And so Tim Witherspoon, Ray Mercer, Terrell Biggs. I mean, you go down the list, they're all part of it. It's going to be a boxing tour. We may have our first event put on by Mike Evans, who is a boxing legend himself and also a very successful businessman who owns a barbecue sauce company right here. We can't fight about Mighty Knockout Barbecue Sauce. This is his sauce. We may be doing our first event. Well, I don't know if I can give the details out yet. We got to get it all together where it will be because it's pretty incredible. But yeah, Circle of Legends, look at I will put a link up here to the Circle of Legends website and go to our Instagram, the Circle of Legends, and you put in, it's the one with the 2 after it. So excellent stuff. All the money made will help out boxing legends, help them get them on their feet if they're destitute, and also will provide them a way of creating an income through boxing seminars, through appearances, signings, dinner programs with them, and also the boxing tour. So it's going to be great stuff. Look for it.
Hey, Brian, who are some of the legends? Of course, we got Tim Witherspoon, but who are some of the other legends, boxing legends involved in Circle of Legends?
Wow, Tim, we can rattle off a lot of the names here. Vinny Pazienza. You have obviously our man Mike Evans. You have Reddick Bowe. You have Sugar Ray Seals. You have Sugar Ray Leonard. You have trying to go through all these names here. Marlon Starling, the master of the high guard. Who else there, champ? I'm trying to remember all the names. Iran Barkley, who we just with.
Piece of paper.
Iran Barkley, amazing guy. Michael Nunn.
Poison Jones. Poison Jones.
Junior Jones. John
Skelly.
John Scully. Yep.
There's a whole list of them.
Man, all the greats.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I already put in for my promoter's license, right?
Yep. And he's going to be our boxing promoter right here, Xavier Biggs.
Nice.
So I'm just thinking, bend your knees and drop your get under there. I'm just thinking, like this cruise thing is an excellent deal, right? But we can still do like small promotions that lead up to that because that's really going to get the attention of my people that's potential to back me. You know what I mean? What you think?
I love it. And Mike just is putting the proposal together. Mike Evans, I'll show it to you. It's incredible. And we're going to we're going to blend ours with his corporate team's proposal.
Right.
Hey, Brian, as far as Circle of Legends, so is the first event going down in Philly this November, or is it maybe that bigger thing that we talked about, which is beyond ridiculous?
Well, you want me to say it? What it is?
Hey, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think we can put it out there. It'll be a cruise ship, so it'll be on a cruise line. It'll be the second in history for a boxing event to be held on a cruise ship. It happened one other time in 1931. Mike Evans did all the research. So we're going to fill up a cruise ship with people who are boxing fans and with boxing legends. And we're going to have a component with social media. So social media people will have some of the top social media combat influencers also on the cruise. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting, really exciting. And only done once.
It's a 1 day, right, on a cruise ship?
Yep, it'll be a cruise ship. Yep, 4 days.
4 days?
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I've got a question from the chat. I think Ricardo Antonio Ora Velasquez was just asking about the Paso Pendulo from Cuban boxing. So it's basically the typical bounce that you would have, like the amateur style. I think if you watch the Dios Bellis Hurtado versus Pernell Whitaker fight, you'll see that with the bounce, which is like an amateur style, but a specific version of the Cuban style, he did maintain that for 12 rounds. Obviously, you don't really have even up to 1% of Cuban boxers in professional boxing. So I would say give it about 10 years. Wait until you see more Cuban boxers. Maybe they're going to transition with the American style or keep the Cuban style. And then that will be a good test to see whether the bounce can be maintained. I don't think you want to do anything for 12 rounds anyway. I don't think, even Tim can vouch for this, and Xavier, you always want to change your rhythm. You never want to keep the same pattern of movement for 12 rounds, because that's the art of deception within boxing. You never keep the same thing present and evident. So, yeah, Ricardo, that answers your question. Sorry about that, guys. I just digressed into the chat there.
No, that's great, man. That's good info right there.
Mm.
Yeah, speaking of the comments thread, boy, there's some negative trolls out here. And I will say one thing. I've been getting a lot more of these trolls and haters, and that just tells me I'm doing bigger things, man. Like,
100%.
I'm doing movies. I'm literally going to be in a comic book. I'm getting a big fight. So, like, all these trolls and haters, more of them are coming out because they're so sad in their own lives that they hate to see someone else succeed. And I feel sorry for them, man.
Now,
like,
just
tell them, me coming out of like nowhere and like be motivated by like, oh shit, maybe I could do some cool ass stuff too. Well, you guys could if you have the right attitude, but you don't. So change your damn attitude.
Tell them you love them. Tell them you love them. Tell them you love them.
Look, Tim.
They're
part of like the ecosystem. There's a need for them because like for people like me, it just motivates me even more. Like,
tell them you love them.
Want to prove it's just extra motivation, man.
Tell them you love them.
Hey, I got my own online stalker too. Charles and Tim.
Hey, tell them. Listen, tell them you love them. That hurts them if they don't.
Kill them with kindness, right?
Let's get it on. Come on.
Kill them with kindness, man.
Yeah.
But David, guys, the thing that I know with haters, it goes to philosophy and mindset philosophy. You never, like, a CEO would never waste his time to talk about his employers, but the employers always talk about the CEO. So all your haters are almost putting themselves beneath you and looking up and seeing you and wasting their time to talk about you. So it just shows you the hierarchy that you have. You're there, you're their focus for the day. You have nothing to say about them personally. They're just the fuel that carries you through the day, So I mean,
Charles, we need the haters.
Embrace them. Yeah, of course, we have to embrace them.
Charles, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we need the haters to make it
100%
even more better than what it is. We need without the haters. Without the haters, this show won't be the greatest show. It won't be.
They're gonna pay for tickets.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where people like they'll pay to watch it just because they hope and they would want to see me get beat, but they'll be disappointed because I'll keep advancing, but they'll keep buying the fights, hoping that one day I'll get beat.
And tell them you love them after the fight. Tell them you love them after the fight.
And speaking about loving, I got to give appreciation to the supporters. Like those are the people I love, man. Like like we all need that support. And there's always going to be a nice blend, a nice mix of the haters and the supporters. But I appreciate the hell out of the supporters, of course, man. Like all the words of encouragement and all that support, it means a lot. It really does. So I appreciate you guys.
So Elizabeth said, "Hate to make you greater."
Tyrell here.
Perfect.
We got Tyrell here.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yep.
Tyrell, you want to say something?
How's it going?
Come on over, Tyrell. Oh, this is the legend right here. This is the great Tyrell Biggs, man who the first super heavyweight gold medalist, man who's been in the ring with the likes of Mike Tyson.
Thank you.
Trained in Philadelphia.
15 rounder. He fought the last 15 rounder in history.
Amazing. Wow. 15 rounds, boy.
No, I fought the last 15 round in professional boxing. It was me and I think Tony Tubbs, we fought the last one. Then the WBC, they got rid of the 15 rounds. They made it 12. So me and Tony Tubbs fought the last 15th round in boxing history.
That's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
what? So you mean did the fight go 15 rounds?
It went 15 rounds, but they stopped doing 15 rounds because of the health reasons. But they were saying the boxers was going too many rounds, so they cut it down to 12. So me and Tony Tubbs fought the last 15 round. That's
that's Timmy. Timmy, check it out, right?
Yeah.
Me and Mike's fight was scheduled for 15 rounds, buddy.
It was scheduled for 15.
We had the last 15 rounds. The bottom line is both of the 15 round history makers is in the circle of legends.
We'll figure it.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tim and Tyrell. Do you remember maybe the number of fights being around 20? Because I heard something about at one point the fights you had a certain number of rounds, 20 or 25 or something like that.
Never. That was a long time ago. 20 rounds.
Oh, okay.
It was always 15.
Yeah,
it was always
15.
15. And then when Dooku Kim died after fighting, I forgot who was fighting. The WBC, WBCA, and all them, they got involved in trying to. They were saying 15 rounds was too long, so that's how it became 12 rounds because Dooku Kim got killed. Well, he died when he fought Boom Boom Mancini. So that's when they decided to make it 12 rounds.
Yeah. So Tim, in your honest opinion, and you Tyrell, you haven't even seen David train yet, but how many rounds would you say would be a good start for David to have as his first pro fight?
In terms of,
like, just because you've seen David train and you know his engine, like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen him spar, but just as someone getting into pro boxing, what would you say is a good number of rounds to start off with?
Well, if he, in my opinion, let me go first. Well, if he's used to going certain amount of rounds in the martial arts, all he's doing is just transferring over with a different type of style. So he can go 10, he can go 7. He's just got to change his skills and stuff. I think in his mind, those rounds won't mean nothing. If he's doing 5 or 6 in martial arts, he just got to, to me, in my opinion.
Transition.
What do you think, Champ? What do you think?
Well, as far as like anytime we get into boxing, you start as an amateur, you go 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how boxing work anyway.
Yeah.
You start off fighting 3 rounds as an amateur. So you should start off at least doing that and then work yourself up from there. You can go 6 rounds, 8 rounds, or whatever. But it's always going to start out with 3 rounds. Because when you first start fighting, you're always going to fight 3 rounds.
So how many rounds are you used to going in martial arts?
Here's how it's structured, Tim, real quick. So if it's going to be the K1 kickboxing match, and I wouldn't mind if it doesn't end up being the K1 kickboxing match and we're just me and Jimmy are going to do boxing, the K1 kickboxing match is set up for 7 2-minute rounds because they want that fight to move at a more rapid clip and be intense. And I'm not expecting to go all 7. I think I could take out Jimmy within 3 of those 2-minute rounds, to be honest with you. Like, nice solid knockout, man. That's how I plan to win. But it's structured as 7 2-minute rounds. And if for whatever reason Juan doesn't pull that Dubai fight up for us, then we do boxing. I say we do 7 2-minute rounds. Just keep that faster pace going, man.
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right with 5 or 6 or 7 rounds because you used to going like 5 or 6. You okay?
Oh yeah. Like people they just, and these are people that don't even know me. They don't see me training every day for 3 hours, man, at a rapid pace, doing supersets, doing an hour of cardio, doing all this stuff. Like, they just assume because I got a decent amount of muscle, like I don't have endurance. It's like I got pretty damn good endurance, man. But people don't even realize that. And I don't even think I'm going to need that against Jimmy, to be honest. Like I said, I'll take him out in 3. But if it goes to 7, so be it.
I like the confidence. I like the confidence.
I think what might be good leading up to the actual fight. And because I can see even in the chat, there's a lot of questions about how you're going to train. I reckon you should probably do like an all access, 24/7 style, reality style, shooting of the training and the development. They get a sense of your personality, Tim's personality, Brian, Xavier, Tyrell, everyone that kind of is involved, and then seeing a day in a life, the development, and then eventual fight night, that would be quite good. That would be, televising, the experience. So,
Oh, for sure. And they'll
yeah.
see like how quickly somebody who's like very dedicated and disciplined can shift, because I'll be the first one to say I'm not a boxer. I'm a martial artist, but I know I can make that transition fairly quick with you guys, especially.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt in my mind. And it'd be kind of cool to see people see that evolution, happen so rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause martial arts is different than boxing, though.
Yes, but you have the discipline, you got the toughness, and there's a certain way you can move your body. Like it'll transfer good overall. Like I've always soaked things up like a sponge. Not everybody's like that, but my cup is empty. So when you guys are pouring your stuff in, I got an empty cup. I don't have the ego. There's a lot of people with ego. Oh, I've been training martial arts for 20 years. I already know everything, They ain't gonna get better. I have an empty cup. I approach everything with a white belt mentality.
Right.
But only if I have confidence and trust the team. And you guys are champions. You guys are high-level trainers. So I got nothing but confidence. And me and Tim already worked a little together. And I could just tell from that little time, it's like, man, if I just got to spend like a month with Tim, it'd be ridiculous.
Pretty good. I know that we are going to, the trainers are going to have to get together because I don't know of anybody in boxing history that had 3 intelligent trainers in the corner. So it could conflict with your movement. It could conflict with your movement. So we all going to have to get together and talk and be with you so we can figure out a way to fit some of these skills in, because if I show you something, it might conflict with Charles or Xavier does. And that could be a problem. So we're going to get together in the room or whatever and talk. I'm sure Charles understand and Xavier do. Because in boxing history, the skills, if somebody's skills might be a little bit different than mine and somebody else, and it might conflict with your movement. And so we're going to have to really seriously. This actually is the first time that in my life in boxing that this is being presented to one boxer, like 3 different good trainers. So we're going to have to really work hard. Maybe a little piece of this from me, a little piece of this from Charles, maybe a little bit from Xavier. Maybe you could put it together. Hopefully the movement won't conflict with each other.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how that'll work. Jim, you're of course talking about the classic issue of too many cooks in the kitchen. But what we're doing here is we're creating a super chef with a super chef. Not too many cooks in the kitchen. So with what you're already thinking about and everybody like is aware, it's going to create the super chef instead of the other problem where you have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah,
right. You got to deal with everybody's different skill level. Everybody's skill level is not the same, so you got to work with each fellow's skill level.
No, champ is the movement. I know. See, Charles has skills. I have certain skills. It's just the movement of those skills. I can together. Your movement might be different from mine, and Charles might be different. So we're gonna have to really work hard to see if all of that can benefit David. That's all. Let's get together.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
See, the Cubans do a lot of movement, pretty movement, and slipping and counter punches and stuff. Me and Xavier got the old school. We might have to. We're going to figure it out. We got the old. Relax. Where you relax and make a person miss and deliver that punch and knock them out. You relax more. We got defense, but the Cubans move a lot and knock you out. So we just want to have to. We just want to have to put everything together. I was just looking at it. And I was just saying, wow, this is going to be hard. Let's try to work together and see how we can get David on the right track.
Hey, y'all, we got to get ready to go because we got some clients here. We getting ready to train. we getting him prepped up for the seminars. So this is training to get prepped up to work with people in the seminars. So
Yeah.
we gotta there you go, man. I'll be in touch. Hey Brian, let's talk.
Yep, I'll be calling you,
Let's
champ.
get Mike Evans on the phone later.
Xavier.
All right,
Thanks, Xavier.
Later, champ.
All right, y'all. Have a good day.
Y'all be good.
Nice one, Xavier.
Bro, see you, champ.
All right, buddy. Good seeing
Take
you.
easy.
I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey Tim, quick question for you, because we want to talk about your comeback exhibition fight. And there's a guy that made a comment in here. I guess he paid $2 to highlight this comment. I don't know if you know this guy, Randy Witherford.
Yeah, he's a regular on our show.
He said Tim's been ducking me for years. Is he just joking, or is he actually?
Yeah. He's a supporter, man. We
He's
love
just messing around. Okay, that's funny.
We love him, and he keeps our show going on. He participates in all the shows. That's our buddy.
Hey Tim, who would you like to have like your comeback fight against? If you like,
I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm confident. Okay, if you mean who, I don't care. I don't care. I'm confident in what I could do. I train hard. They could put anybody out there. I don't care.
Okay, like Roy Jones, Mike Tyson.
Roy ran from me.
Roy's scared of you.
he ran from me. The other day I saw him on the internet showing had a guy throwing hook, but he had to lift his feet up with it and throw it. And when I saw that, I never seen nobody in boxing history ever do that, to throw a punch. You keep your feet on the ground and bend your knees. But he had a guy lifting his feet up and throwing the punch at the same time. I never saw that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a hook. It was a hook, Charles. He lifted both feet up and threw the hook. And if you watch it, it's on. I think it's on YouTube. And I said, whoa, I've never seen that in my life. Lift your feet up and punch at the same time.
Yeah. I think that's the problem when you have boxers and they teach. Some boxers have actually developed through, almost like a systematic progression, like you, Tim, because to learn the Philly show, it's not easy. It takes many years, and the way how you teach it, it shows that you built your system off almost becoming a teacher of the Philly show. But I think when you've got some boxers who've almost had no real time to actually understand their own style and have actually just been going with it, when they teach, it doesn't seem as well put together. And I think Roy Jones, definitely as a boxer, his performance is 100%, but I don't know as how he is as a coach. I don't really know. I can't say he's bad or, I don't know, because, it's one thing, because I know like so many mathematicians, when they get to such a high level, they assume people should know fundamentals as if it's basic. But anyone coming into any specialist area, fundamentals are hard. A pivot seems like a wild move to a complete beginner, but for us, a pivot is basic, but that's because we've been doing it for so many years. Right. So when you start with someone who's a complete beginner, you literally have to treat them as if they're a baby, so the whole psychology is different. But yeah.
It's funny what you're saying. And David can relate to this. Bruce Lee once said, before I studied an art, a kick was just a kick and a punch was just a punch. When I became a student, a kick was no longer a kick and a punch was no longer a punch. After I mastered the art, a kick became a kick and a punch became a punch. So it's kind of like what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Great.
There's so many dimensions to, even the most basic things, because rhythm, timing, the situation that you're in, all of these variables change how you implement it and then also how you have to teach it. So I think this is what we're seeing now. I think even someone was saying that, like when you look at the boxers that are involved in boxing now, when they get to the highest level, they start realizing that the coaches are not able to show them what they need to just bridge that plateau that they get to. And that's why you see a lot of these boxers, after such a long time of being with their coach, they leave. Anthony Joshua, Chris Eubank Jr., I think even Errol Spence is now leaving Derek James. So it just shows you that when people take a loss, there's two different types of loss. There's the loss where you just know you need to get back into the gym and try harder. And then there's the loss where, what you've been taught will never beat the opponent that you lost against. And then you start looking at your coach, and then you start thinking, I don't think my coach can teach me what I need to get past this opponent. And then, it's a personal conflict or conversation that you have with yourself as a boxer. You literally sit back, look at the loss that you've taken, and you think to yourself, could I have beaten that opponent in 10 different fights? And if the answer is no, then you look at your coach. You think, my coach is not showing me what I need to know. And then you just take that personal decision to say, all right, I'm going to end things, cut my ties with this coach and move somewhere else.
The majority of times, these trainers, these boxers don't really know if they have a good trainer or not. And
100%.
that's really, to me, that's the main problem over here. Like Anthony Joshua, he'll speak about a trainer. Deontay Wilder will speak about a trainer, but they don't even know certain have the skills to tell the trainer, just because they victorious and they making big money, they can speak out about it. But really deep down, Deontay Wilder don't know who's with they just, and Anthony Joshua, because if he did, he would call me or call somebody like you, or call somebody like you. So what I'm saying, they don't know because they champion and they got all the belts, they got money. They think they can make a decision about the training and they can't. They can't. And that's the problem today. Anthony Joshua don't know who to pick.
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
Tell them, pick this guy, pick that guy. He don't know who to pick. Neither do Deontay Wilder. And there's a lot of other those guys. Look at Joe Joyce. There's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. They didn't let this dude, let him with all that size, all his big muscles, he had everything going for him, and they didn't get him a good trainer. That's a shame. It's a shame. Wasted all that time. And he could have been saved. He could have been saved, Charles.
Well,
That's
I mean, I know the coach that he took, and I think Salas is good with Cubans, with Dominicans, but Joe Joyce is not a boxer that fights with rhythm. He barely moves his head, so it would have been a style that could have. I mean, the Philly show could have complemented him. Because
you got to teach him to move his head. You got to teach him to move.
100%. 100%.
You got to teach him to move. Teach him to block. Nobody teaching him that. Go ahead, Charles.
So I think some of these. I mean, I watched his fight, and I could see that even the most basic thing as moving to the left against the southpaw was what he almost set his mind to doing, but those things should come natural. And I think at the heavyweight level is what we were talking about before, where you have a lot of these heavyweights that are being fast tracked because of their size, because they're cash cows. When you see a big guy, you instantly think, oh my God, he looks the part. He's gonna attract so much attention. But what are the skills that they're learning? How long do they spend in the gym before, their physique becomes their facade in the public eye, And I think that's the problem with the trainers as well, because the trainers are instantly looking at more often than, none, a big black guy. He looks the part like a heavyweight. Let's get him in sparring. Let's get him in his first fight as quickly as possible. And then the skills are not developed. The skills are not honed. So when he gets to a high level, you see him struggling with the most basic moves just to move to the left against the southpaw. And I think that like when you look at someone like Terence Crawford, he's doing 20 things at any one time. You know, like when you read something like the Bible, you read it one day, you read one verse, then it resonates with you in one way, and then you read the same verse in another way on another day. You know, that's literally how Terence Crawford is. He's got so much dimensionality to him. You know, you can look at him as a southpaw and see him one day counter punching, and then you can see him another day, you know, holding his feet and boxing his opponent right there, and not trying to force himself onto his opponent, but let his opponent decide to reset and move backwards, because his feints, his counters, his attacks and counter attacks, they're just too much for his opponent. You know, so when you've got that kind of skill level, and then you look at the heavyweight division, I'm like, no one is doing that. Someone asked about Frank Sanchez. I think Frank Sanchez, lucky for him, he trained in Cuba. So, you know, skills were the thing that you have to even get to the national team. You know, when you get to the Olympic Union, you have to, like, the coach calls out a specific
Charles,
combination.
I don't mean to interrupt you. You got a $20 chat. Somebody donate $20.
Oh, we're gonna give that to the thanks Maurice, but that's gonna go straight to the training team of David, you know, the attire, so that's going to the coaching kits, everything. So the gloves that we need to get for him as well. So thanks a lot, Maurice. But yeah, I mean, I think that is the problem that I'm seeing in boxing nowadays. You know, the skill level, the expectation for boxers to be able to pull out some skills. Like I said to you before, you know, you know, this problem with Anthony Joshua, you know, how you could see he was traumatized at the skill that he probably experienced Usyk having, and that tormented him. If he was beat with brute force, that would have been another thing. He could have said, all right, then yeah, he got me. He just was lucky to land the first punch. But when you're beaten with skill, it's like you almost face this door, this barrier that is overwhelming. And you say to yourself, I can't beat this guy. You know, there's no way I could have beaten this guy. And that troubles your mind as an Olympic gold medalist. You think to yourself, it's almost like, you know, when Rocky, I think it was Rocky 2 or Rocky 3, when he was up against Mr. T, B.A. Baracus.
Oh, Rocky 3, yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, the coach, Mick, he was holding Rocky back. But Rocky, in his mind, was like, no, I can beat everyone. I'm the champ. And he was like, no, we've been, make no mistake, we've been holding you back. we've been cherry picking your fights. This guy is the real deal. You've lost it. In your experience of being a heavyweight champion, you've lost that eye of the tiger that you had when you were in the first episode. This is the third episode. Exactly. So I think that is the issue with some of these boxers. They get caught up in the stardom of being an Olympic champion. They forget that, you know, just because they see the brands, the sponsorship deals, it gets to their head. And, you know, spending time in the gym, honing your skills, knowing that the technical accumulation of skill and understanding of situations that you encounter within the ring never stops, because there's infinite number of styles, there's infinite number of ways to implement the style, and you always constantly have to be in that student position. It's the hardest sport that you can ever hope to partake in. So why do you think the learning for it stops when you get to that top position? All these football teams, they're constantly training. These boxers, they get to a certain point, and if they relax, you know, so it's backwards for me.
So
you
Charles,
know, you get, yeah.
So Charles, this is what we do in America with a mover. It's so easy. Easy. All his movement, all you do is go to his body, which is big.
100%.
When everybody trying to go to his head, Usyk is going to miss all that. But he's not. I don't care which way he move. If you touch this, he's going to get aggravated. I had a good trainer, man, and I never go for a mover's head in the beginning.
Yeah.
They hate it when you go to the body. Even if his arm is out there trying to break his arm. Go to the body. So Usyk doing all this, you stopping his movement here. He don't like that. And once you stop that movement, say like Usyk's doing all this, and you keep hitting him here, that's gonna make him mad. I'm telling you, we did it to the bounty hunter, who's one of the best movers around. Fighting Usyk is so easy. I'm telling you. Deep over his head. All they gotta do. This, I'm gonna tell you something. This body can't get out the way. Hit him on here. Hit him on there. After 3 rounds, you're gonna forget about the head. Then you take the head out. That's the old school training. That's the old school training. I don't care how much you move. This part is hard to move. It's hard to not get hit. So if you just touch it, go hard. You got to be in shape. Go to the body. Jab them to the body. They don't like that. They don't like it because that's why they move. They want to get out the way and look pretty, but you can't move this. But you can get this out the way. I'm telling you, Usyk is an easy box fight. All they had to do is get the right person in there. Get John. I'm telling you, all them fights was easy, and all he had to do was be in shape and go to the body. He trying to go to the head, making Usyk look really good because he's moving and you missing the punches, but you can't get out the way of this.
Yeah.
That's hard to get this out the way. All you gotta do is keep jabbing on the body. He'll get frustrated and mad because you're touching him. The movers do not want you touching them. That's why they move. They want to look good. But you can't get this out of the way. And once you keep doing that, mentally he's gonna be like, damn, he keep touching me. But when Joshua kept missing the head, that made Usyk the happiest man in the world. But if you touch his elbow, touch his shoulder, and be in good shape, you're gonna win that fight. And that's, to me, is an easy fight. It's an easy fight.
Tim and Charles, I got a question, man. And Tim, I know you're going out there to watch it live in Saudi Arabia, but we'll start with you, Tim. Like, who do you think wins between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou?
Well, I think that if Tyson Fury's in shape, because I think he's been having a little takeoff and having a little fun. I'm sorry, I'm belching. I had that smoothie. I do believe that Tyson, they say he was a little bit heavier. I don't know if he was taking his name is what's his name?
Ngannou, yeah.
Okay. I think that Tyson should be able to pull it out, but Ngannou is serious. He's serious about this fight. I know he got Tyson in his corner. That's going to give him some inspiration. I'm just concerned. I'm always a defensive guy. I'm concerned about his defense. That's all. Him moving in. And like we was talking earlier, Charles was saying about movement. I believe when you move too much just to throw one punch, that's a waste of time. When you can just go like this. I seen guys just step here and move over here just to throw this punch, and all you got to do is this. Right? They want to look pretty, and there's a lot of movement, and they throw that one punch. So the bottom line is that I think that that he could do pretty well, but I don't think that Tyson Gypsy is going to go all the way over there and lose to this guy. But he better be in shape. He didn't look in good shape. He didn't look in good shape the other day. I seen he didn't look in good shape, but he better get in shape because this dude is in shape, and he could change the story now. But I don't think that Tyson Fury in his heart, and he's a gypsy, I think he's going to pull it out. But I don't think that he was training hard. The way I saw his stomach and everything, I don't think he was training. I don't know, Charles, but I do believe that he can possibly win this. Not possibly, he should be able to win this fight. He should be able.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it isn't really a contest in saying whether Ngannou can do something to overwhelm Tyson Fury. I think it's, as you just said, whether Tyson Fury does not train and he messes up, he lowers his performance level to the point where him going up against Ngannou, who has really limited boxing skills and experience of even fighting in that realm of boxing, you know, you just make it look competitive because you haven't trained. I think that is the only thing that we can expect. And I think from that point of view, from the fact that people have paid to come and watch this and it's become a spectacle, it's just like the Logan Paul Mayweather. Mayweather doesn't want to knock him out in the first round. They want to, you know, get through a few rounds, give the crowd something to look at, and, you know, allow content creators to make some footage, you know. So yeah, I think it should be an easy night for Fury. So yeah.
Yeah, that
Cool.
makes sense. Usually the MMA fighters who transition to boxing have never done as well. I mean, when you talk about the Paul brothers, they beat all those champion fighters, you know, like Tyrone Woodley, Diaz, you know, so many of them. So
Yeah.
They didn't beat the real top guys though. They didn't beat the real. What was they? What rating was they? David, what rating was they? The guys.
Well, you know, for the MMA guys, like Tyrone Woodley was a champion. He was a welterweight champion. But that's the thing, like
MMA.
Yeah, in MMA, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but you still got to give the Paul brothers credits for being able to beat a combat sports champion. That's pretty good, you know.
Well, it's different skills. Then they couldn't beat the guys in the top 10 in boxing, though.
Oh hell no! They make sure they handpick these guys who are like middle age, and you know they like I got a good name and they've had good titles, but you know it's a good matchup. They're very smart with who they pick.
Okay.
Yeah. So
hey, where'd Brian go?
Mayweather did carry Conor, I think. Mayweather did carry Conor, but I think Mayweather also had to take some caution with McGregor, because McGregor did actually tag Mayweather with a few punches, and I think it was just the you know, Conor McGregor, he was at, you know, the pinnacle. I think he was on a slight decline when he fought with Mayweather as an MMA fighter. But, you know, it's just the fact that Conor McGregor is so random. He's so arbitrary. You know, he's very kind of spontaneous with his movements. You know, he does have flow. And I think Mayweather did have to throw caution to the wind with Conor McGregor in that fight. If you saw the first, I think, 2 rounds, he was slightly defensive and just trying to, you know, assess the kind of punches that Conor McGregor was trying to throw. And I actually, at one point, I saw Conor McGregor trying to do a fist, a downward punch on the head. Yeah, it was funny.
I was like, what?
No, that's not boxing.
I don't think Mayweather was worried the whole fight.
Yeah, I don't think he was worried. I don't think he was worried at all. You know, but it was just the spontaneous type of moves that he could have just brought. The improvisation of Conor McGregor in that fight was a bit, you know, kind of took Mayweather a bit back. So I think he had to just understand his movements, even get him tired a little bit, and then just, you know, impose himself in the way how he did. So yeah.
You want to read some of this?
Yeah, some of the chats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tomahawk is asking, when do you start your training? Are you gonna run 5 miles a day? What will your training look like every day?
I'll address some of that really quickly. So the training. So I'm still like in the middle of shooting the Bloodstorm movie. Check out the Instagram page, Bloodstorm movie. Get cool behind the scenes stuff. So we're actually taking just a little brief break until October. So I got a week off basically. You you know, because the lead actress is not available. I got a lot of scenes with her. So I'm going to get back. We're going to get back into production in October all the way till the 20th. And part of that shoot is still going to be in Northern California. Some of it's going to be in Oklahoma. It's going to be great. So I can't really go hard on the training. I mean, I'm doing my own training to stay in shape, of course, but not go hard into the boxing training until after October 20th. So a lot of it's contingent on, and I mentioned earlier, when and what kind of fight the Jimmy Justice is going to be. It's either going to be K1 kickboxing in late November or in January in Dubai, or it'll just be a proper boxing match, but it will be no sooner than late November. So in the training, like, it's going to be, the way I break it down in my head, and of course I'll have to talk with all you guys, I mean, minimum 2 days, maybe even 3, but it's going to be broken down in different ways, you know, like just focusing on skills. Like I'm going to do a lot of rounds. Obviously there's going to be sparring where we got some sparring partners. Brian told me about, like, champion boxers, you know, legit guys. I also want to do just a lot of rounds of, I'm just defending the whole time as you're watching, Tim, and you kind of like instruct, because that's the thing I want to work on the most, is the defense, because you're the master Philly shell.
They say it.
You know, we're gonna really get the defense, and we're gonna look for those counters, man.
No problem. Don't worry about it. You just be ready.
Yeah.
You just be ready. That's all. You're gonna look really good. You're gonna look really good. Read some of those things, Charles. Look at that.
So we got let me see. Let's see. Tomahawk is saying, please do a scene where you are chasing chickens. So you know, it was that kind of arcade.
Chasing chickens.
Yeah, the old school stuff.
Yeah,
I think Rocky did that in
Rocky too.
Yeah,
that was a really cool scene. You know, like what you mentioned earlier, Charles, we will document this and put the stuff on YouTube, at least for the Jimmy fight. Now, I don't know if I want to name names right now, but there's a really great documentary filmmaker who made some amazing documentaries, and I've been talking to him, and, you know, we're talking about basically chronicling and making a documentary of the big fight that I referenced next year. Now, I don't know who it's going to be against. Like, obviously, I threw out Michael Bisping's name, Mike Perry, you know, guys like that. And Tim, you're the real Rocky, because you're the real champion from Philadelphia. So, you know, just the training with this, like, I'm literally doing stuff that people, quote, aren't supposed to do in middle age. Like, all of a sudden I'm in action movies, you know, and then, like, I'm doing real fights. Like, you're not really just supposed to do that all of a sudden in this late in the game. But you got to change, like, what is possible. You know, I was even talking to Ron Van Cleef. He told me he didn't even slow down till he hit 60. So I'm still pretty young in a way. I mean, this guy is a physical beast. He's still got a six-pack, and he's like 81 years old, and he still competes. Not in striking, but he's actually got a jiu-jitsu grappling match that he's going to compete again at 81. So when people say, you know, like, oh, middle age is old, it's not really, man, because there's a huge difference, for one, between chronological age, which obviously the number, and biological age. Like, if you did actual tests, like, I'm quite a bit younger than my chronological age.
Yeah. I think combat sports reduces it matures you at an early age, but it halts your aging process after a while. Because when you look at all your friends who don't do any kind of combat sports, it's almost like they have aged, where you're, you know, maturing more like a fine wine. They're more like milk. You know, so that's the thing,
basically.
You know?
And just the lifting weights and everything is about the closest thing you could get to the fountain of youth, because just the natural age progression makes you lose muscle and gain fat, but you prevent that from actually doing the you know, the weightlifting and everything. So it keeps you youthful. Like, I still feel like I'm in college, man. Like, I'm still explosive, you know, like so yeah, people, you know, big difference between chronological and biological age. But I'm trying to, like, raise the bar and the standard of what people can and should be able to do at this age. That's what I am going and will be doing.
I was hitting the hammer, a big hammer, for about 3 weeks with my boxers from Bangladesh. I'm gonna tell you something. I hit the heavy bag. It felt like I was back in the the Frank Bruno and Larry Holmes days. What I did the whole week for like what 20 minutes, and then I rested up one day and got on the bag. I said, "Oh my God, somebody's in trouble if I get a sparring session."
We be doing a lot of that stuff when I'm out
Big
there too.
hammer, it was a heavy one, boom, and all the other guys had the small one. I kept boom, and we do 3-5 3-minute rounds. Imagine if we did like we did in the Muhammad Ali camp days. We did a whole hour straight through. You take your own break. Okay, you keep going, right? With a heavy axe, then you take about a minute break, then keep going. Man, every time I did that, I got a knockout.
Yeah.
Great. Use that hammer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
I mean,
implement that in training.
Like, did anyone really watch the Zhang versus Fury fight? Because I'm seeing a lot of people are commenting on that.
Zhang versus Fury. They fought each other.
Yeah, last night, and Zhang knocked him out. I mean, no. Zhang, Zhang, and Joyce. Yeah, Joyce.
He need some help. I've been,
Yeah.
I sent the thing out there. He need to learn how to slip, and he know how to block and keep his defense tight. And he knew how to play the southpaw. And people say put your left foot on the outside, but there's more to it than that. You also turn the shoulder. You turn the shoulder when you shoot. You move in, so he can turn into your punches.
Yeah, I heard the commentator saying what they need to do is put their foot on the outside, and I was like, it's not as easy as it's not just doing that, because if your opponent lets you put the foot there, he might be trying to set you up as well. So don't just think that you put your foot there and now that's all you need to do. You gain an advantage, but you have to know what the counter to that is. And if your opponent knows that you're going to be using your backhand, he might step to his left if it's his southpaw and try to counter you with his cross. So
Charles, there's much more to it than putting your. Everybody knows that you just put your foot there, but it's much more that I was taught by the old timers. You do with that. You stay out in front, right hand's left foot, right hand's left foot. Then when you shoot, you go to the outside and go in, and nobody's doing it. There's no old time. Oh man, just put you fight the southpaw, put your left hand side. That's all you hear. But there's so much more you can do. He's standing right out there. All he had was his left foot on the outside, maybe throwing right hands. But there's much more you can do. When he shoot his lead hand, you can go on the outside and move in.
It's
a shame. It's a shame.
I'll be honest with you. But what Zhang did to Joyce was textbook. I could see him like when he got the advantageous position, he was feinting with his lead hand, jabbing with his lead. And when he believed that Joyce was focused on his lead hand, he went to his backhand. And Joyce was confused. Joyce was like out of position. He was just doing the most basic things without moving his head. So you could tell that like that one thing that he learned in the gym was the only thing that he was like, he wasn't thinking about head movement. He was just thinking, it's what you said, Tim, about like when you can tell that you have a boxer who doesn't really know how to box and has a bit of fear. His lead hand was just doing this, but that's all he was doing. No head movement with that.
I would have told him to throw his right hand. The right hand is a jab. Your right hand is in the southpaw. Go ahead.
Exactly. No. You're correct. Yeah. 100%. Exactly. But he didn't do any. And I think that was the thing. It's like tactically, he was out of his depth because Zhang is a fully fledged Olympian that has skill. Like he actually knows what he's doing with his hands. He knows how to transition between his right hand, the jab, and then the backhand, but he does it seamlessly. It's not that he does ta ta ta. It's like he feints ta, like that, pa. He brings them out when you're in that kind of standoff position. It's almost like he doesn't have a lead hand anymore. It's like he has this hand, that hand, and they can be instantly fired at any time because it's just that boxing, like when there's not that much movement and you're both standing in front of each other, and you don't have to rush in. You know, you can use your backhand quickly. You can use your lead hand quickly. You know, you can feint, then go to the body. You can feint to the body, go to the head. You know, and that was what Zhang had in his toolkit. I could not see what Joyce had. I was confused when I looked at Joyce.
And listen to this. I'm good at this defense. I don't care what Zhang did, fake this and that. All Joyce had to do was tighten his shell up. That's all. Go for the fake, right here. Anytime he fake, go here. Anytime he go punch here, tighten the defense up, fire back. Simple and easy. Simple and easy.
We need to get you a heavyweight, you know.
Anytime he fake, defense. That's all he had to do. When Zhang was done, Joyce was like this, getting hit. It's a defense and an offensive thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so easy, man. These guys could have been prevented, their losses and everything. It's a shame. Man. It's just so easy. That stuff is easy, man. All you have to do is gel up. I don't care what kind of dish and that Zhang was doing. All Joyce had to do was shell up tight. That's all. And move in close if you can. Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think we need to get you definitely a heavyweight. Maybe even in camp when David is training. And I think I might try to fly out to when you guys prepare to meet up, because I think the dynamic that you talk of, like, remember, Cuban boxing, the style is movement. Everything is technique first. If you look at the 80s, the 70s, there was not much movement. There's a guy called Adolfo Horta, Teofilo Stevenson, Correa, all of these boxers weren't movers. The boxers actually had power. They were trained to knock people out, not to move. Remember, I said to you, in the 80s or 90s, the coaches in Cuba, in the Olympic Union, they said that, actually, what we're noticing is that because not many countries have a school system of boxing, they don't have good feet. They don't know how to move their feet. And for the amateurs, because everything is so fast, and like they're going ping, 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 pam, 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 the judges score it based on what looks clean. In pro boxing, you could have a boxer like Amir Khan doing all of that movement. He gets hit once, he gets knocked out, that's the end of it. But in amateur boxing, you don't really have time for the knockout. But what you do is for points accumulation. So the Cubans just said, we're going to move our feet. Don't let anyone touch you for 3 rounds. And then don't knock them out, but just point score. And that's the reason why the Cubans box like how they box now. Just is not because that is the Cuban technique, that's a Cuban style. But if you look at some of the boxers that are coming out that don't make it to the Olympic Union, they don't transition in that way. They actually fight with their feet planted and they throw hard shots. So that's like a lot of the boxers. And this is what I'm saying, like, like when you look at Terence Crawford, he wasn't an Olympic gold medalist. The guys that make it to the Olympic gold medal podium, they transition through the National Olympic squad training. And the Olympic squad training is very specific. They want you to box in a specific way. First of all, because you're representing the country, and because they have their own game plan, and they haven't been with you for the numbers of years that you've developed. So they don't really know all you have to offer, but they create a game plan that, microcycle, macrocycle, and then it's for this opponent, it's for this Russian opponent, it's for this. But as a pro fighter, like Canelo, he doesn't move his feet that much. Errol Spence, all these guys that don't go to the Olympics, they're the ones that are dominating in the pros now. So it doesn't, I think the only Cubans that we see are actual Olympians. We don't see the average Cuban boxer. We only see the ones that have been able to travel with the national team and then defect. You know, if you see the average Cuban boxer, they don't move their feet. They don't do this kind of ta-ta-ta, you know, all of that movement. They actually box very similar to what you would expect in terms of the movement is similar to American style. You know, the technique, there's just a high degree of focus on technique. So all of them will punch in a very similar manner. You know, their hooks are very similar. You know, obviously where you go to different clubs that in America, even the UK, where, you know, like Tim, you would teach a certain style of boxing, you know, like Tyson's coach would teach the peekaboo. The way how you teach your technique will be slightly different from the coach that teaches Mike Tyson, you know, the coach that teaches Pernell Whitaker. You know, all these different coaches have this slight different seasoning on the technique. And that's obviously what you would find as being different in a communist system where the government tells you, look, we want to find one system that is going to make our country be represented well at the Olympics. Find that system. You know, it's almost like a science. It's almost like school system. So, you know, yeah.
Very interesting. Let's just go over a couple other comments. This is one that I'm happy to address because people will point this out, man, and they just make assumptions, you know, like this guy, LOK.
Yeah.
You know, he said, "You steroid freak Viking." I am very happy. I'd actually prefer to get any fight tested. Like, I am very happy to be natural for life. And I look like this in my 20s, my 30s, and now my 40s. And I will tell you why. Because I am extremely disciplined. I actually know what to do. I don't skip workouts. And if any of these people who like say that stuff, by the way, if they literally spent 1 week with me, they train like me, which they probably quit after a day or two, to be honest, man. I've had people like work out with me once and like, I can't do that shit no more. Or I've had people throw up, right? Because you have to build up a tolerance. So I wouldn't even recommend someone work out like me, you know, unless they've been working out for a long time. So, but doing that day in and day out in the discipline, this is why I know I could win those fights. And this is why I'm so confident, because confidence is earned, unlike ego. Like I earned this for like, you know, over, geez, almost 30 years. I don't think I've never not had a six pack since I was like in college. This is how disciplined I've been. So imagine putting that same discipline and focus to boxing. This is why I know I could beat a lot of people. And I got these kind of trainers. There's very few people as disciplined as me, and that's just a fucking fact. I'm not like just say like it's a fact, dude. You
and hey, David, you spend time here, and everybody, Tim will tell you, you are ridiculously fit. I mean, ridiculously. You eat extremely clean, so you gotta spend. I'll tell you, we saw him in the gym, off the charts, man. Unbelievable.
And that's why I can maintain this all natural, like in quote middle age. You know, it's because of the consistency, the discipline, and knowing what I actually need to do. So anyway, those comments, like you get them all the time, but they just don't understand because they don't work out like that. They don't eat like that. They're not consistent like that. If they were, then they wouldn't question it because they look like a damn, you know, Rambo character too in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got Jay Roos saying that Viking is clean 100% fact. So you've got some people in the chat that are actually using their cerebral talents to
and I know Jay Roos. I've talked to him for a while, you know, and like he sees me on Instagram posting, like you could see my workouts all the time. You know, it's like I don't just like, oh, I'm gonna work out today. It's like, no, that's my life. If it's a certain day of the week, there's a certain workout. For the most part, I have a blueprint. Obviously, in the gym, you kind of manipulate things. But, you know, if it's Monday, I'm working out. You don't question it, man. It's just part of your life. Like waking up, brushing your teeth. It's just part of your life. It's just what you do.
Yeah, routine. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was thinking that you can't beat Bisping. The thing about it is that, like, you guys have to remember that myself and Tim are coming from a very, very tactical standpoint. Like Tim's Philly show, I used to watch Tim when I was young, And I was like, you've got to understand that even in boxing, Tim's Philly shell is a technique that you're watching Tim take almost 15 punches from Larry Holmes, and Tim is just standing there blocking all of them and then walking towards, after Larry Holmes has finished his onslaught, he decides to walk straight into him. And I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? Like, what is even going through his head? And so I'm seeing Tim not taking any damage, you know, and being such a defensive. He was the first defensive genius that I saw. Then Mayweather, and no, it was then James Toney, and then Mayweather. That's how I saw, and even Pernell Whitaker, just, you know, around the time of Tony, yeah. But Tim was the first one that I saw. I saw him around just before, you know, really watching and focusing even on Tyson. You know, he was like really the first one who brought, you know, order to boxing. You know, when you saw Tim, it wasn't just 50-50 exchange of punches. It was like, I'm going to let you do what you want to do. Throw 15, 20 punches. Yeah, do good. That's fine. I'm going to throw one jab and I'm going to land it. And for me, that was just complete science. So someone who is prepared to do that in boxing knows more than the average boxer. You know, so you have to understand that whenever you've got someone who's being trained by Tim, you need to expect great things. And I'm telling you that even from the standpoint of knowing that, you know, you've got boxers coming from different countries. Yeah. So it's something that you really need to understand. So when you're saying that David can't beat Bisping, I think you need to understand that if it comes down to boxing, a year spent with Tim, I don't think that there's yeah. But
how about 3 months?
I'm just saying 1 year because maybe of the traveling, all of that kind of stuff, you know. But you know, when you've got someone trained by him, when Tim passes, that is it. The Philly shell, the knowledge of the Philly shell is pretty much done because Mayweather doesn't know the Philly shell.
He said pass it.
He ain't going anywhere anytime soon, Tim.
No. Well, do you know what? Because I want to make people understand that they have to get your number. Like all you guys just like asking about Fury, Zhang, you need to consult with this guy. I'm not like, I had the camera and I'm looking at the camera, guys. I'm looking at the chat now because I'm looking at the screen where I can see David and Tim. But now I'm looking at you guys, the chat. You need to consult this guy, Tim. Like David is so fucking wise to make sure that he's getting a person that is carrying legendary information, and he's going to use that. He's going to demonstrate that the fight is going to be easy. If you ever watch Tim Withers, James Toney after a fight, he's never huffing and puffing. You watch Mayweather after a fight, never huffing and puffing. Tim after a fight,
no bruises on the face.
Yeah, because they're not moving around. They're not throwing all these crazy punches. It's accuracy. They like the whole idea behind this style is to let your opponent come close and lull him into a false sense of security that he sees a target, but that target is impenetrable. And then he comes into target, you block all of these punches because they know the zones of placement of the hands to defend against these punches. And then your opponent is so fixated on his attack that he has no defense. Then you clock him with a jab, but it hurts so much because he has no bracing of his body to take the punch. So you need to consult this guy. I don't want to, like you guys talking about Roy Jones, Chris Eubank, Zhang, whatever. Take Tim's number. He's probably going to be too busy anyway because he's got David to worry about. But maybe maybe after he's dealt with David, he might be able to fit you into his schedule. But I'm not lying to you. Like the Philly shell, Mayweather doesn't know the Philly shell. Mayweather knows an adaptation of the Philly shell.
Yes.
You know, like Tim can give you insight into, and that's why Mayweather calls his he calls it the Mayweather defense. He doesn't even call it the Philly show anymore because I think Mayweather knows. Remember, Mayweather's from Detroit. You know, he's not from Philadelphia. The Philly show
that's
is
his ego, too.
Philadelphian show.
I think that's his ego too.
Yeah. But we don't want him to trademark Philly show. We don't want him to trade. So it's even good that he's using a different intellectual property. So, you know, we don't want him to go down that route. So yeah, I mean,
but people, like you said, Charles, should take advantage of like guys like Tim when they're still here. There's so much like wisdom and knowledge. There's seminars, they're training they can do. But basically, look, after I trained with
sorry, David, you know, like this is the problem about being in the presence of a legend. You have to give him the respect of talking about him as if he's a legend. So you can't even use his first name. You know, you have to say,
go to Saudi Arabia, man.
Him.
But basically, people will see what I am able to get from you, and then your phone's gonna be blown off the hook because be like, damn, he just took this martial arts in like 3 months. He's doing this. It's like I gotta tap into Tim, you know.
It's not that hard, guys, either. It's not that hard. The Cuban style is really complicated. You got to really listen and pay attention to it. And mine's is just so easy. You just got to just sit there and listen and watch and practice it. And it's complicated and really good the Cuban way. It's complicated and it's really a good defense and offensive movement too. But it's an old time, relaxed defense where you can relax. If you're in good shape, you're gonna really be in a good position to win the fight because it's an old time where you can relax and your radar. As soon as your radar see it, it's boom, bam, slip, boom, tighten up, backfire back, and you don't burn that much energy. You don't burn that much energy. So if you practice hard, you after like 10 days, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it down. Yup.
I'll point something really cool out. Right now, I don't know how much Brian told you, Tim, but we're gonna get you because I've been talking to the creator of Warrior Island. Of course, it's the mini series we finished this season. There's gonna be another season next year, and we're gonna bring the Philly shell to Warrior Island, where we're gonna transport you over there. We got the perfect way to get you on the island.
Where's that
and
at?
we'll be training together. So, like in real life, we training together, and also on the show, where funny enough, I played the Viking samurai character. So it's almost like real life blends with like a fictionalized world, but we're doing real training in real life, and also we're going to be doing real training on that show next year.
What you eat, Charles?
I don't know if you guys have this in
What
digestives, chocolate.
Oh
no, I don't know what that is.
It's like a standard chocolate biscuit. See that?
Okay.
Yeah, we have those at the
you're gonna be all right,
Russian,
David.
Ukrainian, Polish market, believe it or not.
Hold on a minute. Do you guys call it cookies?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And you call fries chips, or how do you call it?
We call them French fries. You call them chips.
We call them chips. I don't know. I remember when I went to America, and there was a whole kind of issue between, you know, just the wording of some certain thing. But I digress. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, a couple comments real quick. LOK said,
David,
so are you boxing, Bisbing, or MMA? It's going to be boxing with Bisbing. And then Mark Randall, does Tim have a YouTube channel? Of course, man. You got to subscribe. It's an amazing channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just search Tim Witherspoon in YouTube, and you'll find the channel.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm looking forward to training you too, man, because you learn real fast.
Oh, dude, like us working together is gonna be ridiculous.
I just put the pad up, and he did everything right. I didn't do that. I just went like this, and he threw everything perfectly almost. I was like,
imagine after a month, like that's why I have so much confidence in us working together. You know, so because we already got a taste of that.
My left shoulder was hurt, Charles. He hit me because I wasn't really waiting for it. Bam! And I said, I looked at Brian. I said, "Dude, this dude good
Well,
punch."
just wait till we do all that hammer training, dude. Then all the real power is gonna come
God,
out, man.
somebody's
Just
in
wait till
trouble.
that.
I'm
Somebody's in
just,
trouble.
I'm
Go
just there
ahead.
for consultation. I'm not holding the pads. I'm just there for consultation.
Well,
Hey, Tim,
we
here's a
work.
question for you from Vince Granados. Who
Okay.
does Tim think are some of the great old-time boxing trainers?
I just Jimmy Arthur, Slim Robinson, my trainer Slim Robinson, Georgie Benton, Archie Moore. A lot of those guys had the old tricks. They passed away. You can look on the archives and see all the great trainers. There was a lot, and then there was some that really wasn't noted. No, that people didn't know they were good, but they didn't get all the publicity. There's some guys walking around just as good, but they didn't get the publicity. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, they're going. And a lot of them, the knowledge is in the graves now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
Gym Training asked, "Will I be sparring?" Yeah, in fact, I'm going to be doing some sparring against your son, Tim Jr., who is a professional boxer, and then also the guy when I was out there that we met up with, the other Charles, the Charles from Philly. He's a pro boxer too. Remember?
Well, at the gym.
No, me, you, and Brian met up with him later for dinner.
Oh, Charles is not in good shape for you. You.
Oh, because Brian
I
said
know
I
you
could spar
talking
him too.
He was with the executioners. Yeah, Charles. I was with him last night. We went to we went to autograph signing last night in
nice.
a place called King of Pressure. No, Charles is not going to be able to spar with you.
Okay, that's fine. But we'll have like legit pro boxers that I'll already spar with. You know, this is gonna be legit.
Yeah.
We'll chronicle some of that on YouTube, of course.
Yeah, I don't want you hurting Charles. He's good. He's a good
He's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll like start off light, obviously, and then up the
Charles
intensity
wants
as the
to
fight gets closer.
spar him. He told me.
He wants to.
Yes, he did. He says, "I want to get in." You know, obviously, you can't hit him with those cannons, man. Charles older a little bit, but he's still got it, man.
You just want to mess around, okay?
Yeah,
I like for movement and stuff. You know, we keep it safe.
I felt his power and felt that little hook. If they go serious, I don't recommend Charles to get in there with him and even doing a sparring session.
Tim, just wait till all that hammer training kicks in. Then that'll be even more.
Charles, you can see it too. You can see it, man. He just
We're gonna need to give David a nickname like Dynamite or something like that. I want to see what kind of power.
Dynamite David.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have a name, Dynamite David.
That's pretty good. I should probably just keep the Viking Samurai thing going.
Okay, Viking Samurai.
The Viking.
I like Dynamite David, though. I like that.
Yeah. We're gonna use Thor's hammer, boy.
You gonna read some more stuff? You want to read some more stuff?
Yeah, let's see.
Arthur Clark.
Let's see.
Stop. It said if you want to be taken serious, stop posting shit. I talked to Matt already. Who's that?
Oh, you're talking about Matt Legg. Oh, you know Matt Legg. He's a boxer, right? Didn't you fight Matt Legg?
Not me.
Or is he the kickboxer? I get some of these names I get confused. I thought he was a pro boxer.
Not me. Customato, Eddie Futch, Angelo Dundee. Some of them wasn't trainers. I was around all of them, but Customato, and some of them wasn't really trained and never fought. They just expired the fighter to win. So you seen it up there, right? Eddie Futch was a good trainer. But Ali told me something about Dundee. I don't want to say on the network. I love Dundee because we from the same South Philly. He's not too far from me in South Philly. Yeah.
Matt Legg, by the way, fought Anthony Joshua. Mark Randall said so. I thought he was a boxer.
Say that again.
Matt Legg fought Anthony Joshua because someone was asking about Matt Legg earlier. So yeah, I was right. He is a boxer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think what's his name? Eddie Futch. I think he trained Freddie Roach. I think he was.
He trained Freddie Roach, and so did the guy from New York. What's his name? He trained a couple of people. God, what's his name? I'll remember it later. Freddie. Customato did, and what's his name? Everybody know him. I forgot. Freddie Roach. I'm gonna remember it.
Was it at Gleason's gym or in New York?
I don't really know where they trained at. I don't know where they trained at and everything. But Freddie Roach, and I keep saying he's a really good guy. He's sick, but he didn't have a good defense.
Yeah.
He got hit a lot. I think Manny Pacquiao. Look, Manny Pacquiao brought Freddie Roach back into the scene by him winning. Because I just see Manny Pacquiao doing this all the time. I didn't really see him doing really basic waiting here, boom, bam, bam, bam. Manny Pacquiao was in good shape, and he just do all these all the time. So Freddie Roach benefited, and I hate to talk about it. Freddie Roach benefited. They made him trainer of the year and everything. But I didn't see nothing changed in Manny Pacquiao. He just straight.
It was attack. It was attack. I think that's
one of the best trainers during that time because of his.
I remember some of my friends had a discussion about Freddie Roach, and a lot of his boxers were focused on attack, but not really good at defense. So you see a lot of them getting knocked out, like Amir Khan. No, obviously Pacquiao was something that was waiting to happen. You know, like obviously with Marquez, you know, that knockdown was really bad. You know, like he was sleeping, and that is the first time I've seen ever, you know, Pacquiao knocked down. It wasn't like he got hit and then he went down and then he got back up. Yeah, he slept. He slept.
You know, Freddie wasn't too keen on defense anyway when he fought. So yeah, he wasn't too keen on defense, and I hate to talk about him, but everybody promoted him. But I think Manny Pacquiao really brought him back to life by him winning, not because of his, not because of his defensive skills, because his defensive skills to me was his offense. He kept you off you because he threw a lot.
Exactly.
Every time he come, but you never seen him doing this or blocking or nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shout out Backyard Prophet. How's it going, bro? So yeah, I think you know, there's so many trainers where, you know, like you just look at boxing as being a complete history book. And you know, where you go, you look at different trainers, you look at a certain boxer, you kind of see certain elements of his style. And then you go and look at the trainer, and then you see, oh, he was trained by him, so that's the reason why he had a certain style. And then even his coach was trained by another guy, and then that's why you see residual patterns of the style in that particular boxer. And that's like something that's so good about boxing, because there's so many styles out there. There's fusions of styles. You can sometimes identify where a boxer has come from just by looking at how he boxes. But you can't really do that with other sports, like a dart thrower or pool player, even a basketballer. They're going to do certain things that, you know, is based on them as an individual. But you can really gain a sense of the boxer's trainer just by watching the boxer, you know. So yeah.
Oh, guys, if you want to contact Tim, look at the bottom of the screen, premolar7@gmail.com. So if you need to contact him, and again, take advantage of that wisdom and knowledge, you know.
Or whatever you can find me, just get in touch with me.
No. Definitely. It's a beautiful sport, definitely. And this is one of the practitioners that I think when you have a good coach, such as Tim, he's going to make boxing easier for you. I think that's like literally what then allows you to have a wonderful experience of boxing, because a lot of boxers, exactly, they get into boxing and every time they go, it's an ordeal. They get hit a lot, you know, they're having to run all the time, but they're still getting tired in the ring. But you know, when your coach shows you specific things, he improves your efficiency, within the ring, your option making decisions are more efficient and projected and, based on the opponent, as opposed to just thinking that one size fits all, and I think in that situation you use your brain a lot more. And that's why Mayweather was talking about how he's a smart boxer. He might have someone who hits harder, who's faster, who's taller, but he's a smart boxer. And I think the more you listen to your coach, the more you implement a lot of the things that he tells you. And then again, your experience of boxing just becomes so easy. And when you say you like boxing, you really mean it. A lot of guys, when they say they like boxing, they don't really, because no one really likes to do a push-up. You like the benefits of the push-up, but you don't like the push-up itself. But when you see that whilst you're participating within boxing, your decisions are manifesting in something that makes your life easier and places stress on your opponent, that almost godlike position is what you like about boxing. And it's a direct consequence of how you've been trained. And that's why you create that kind of secretive hold on your coach. You don't want anyone else to have your coach, because he's giving you everything that you need to make you be the best boxer out there. So yeah, shout out to Tim.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, what's the Decker style? What's that?
Oh no, there's this guy from the UK. Maybe you heard of him, Charles Decahegi, bare knuckle guy, very controversial. Very controversial. And with the whole we're not going to talk about this too much, but we're all, we have the Circle Legends thing, and of course we got World Combat Con, and there are going to be numerous fights. Just so people know real quick, we were going to have boxing, bare knuckle, MMA, even like judo or jiu-jitsu matches, all kinds of stuff in an event that we're all going to put on together, and Deca was going to be, he would have been a really good guy as one of the bare knuckle boxers on there, but he's so controversial. And he was even partnered with one of the guys that I'm working on this Fans Follow Me platform, FFM, but they had a big ass falling out. And my connection to Deca was through him, Martin. And if they had a big falling out, then, and with what he's saying, those two guys are saying about each other, it's all kinds of drama on YouTube you could find on their respective channels. But I don't really want to be associated with a lot of that negativity.
Okay.
I don't. So anyway, World Combat Con, we probably going to have the first event next year, I would think, getting it all together with the Czar and everybody else. So anyway, there'll be more announcements. We'll do more lives in the future. And this is just going to be like massive, man. But we'll talk about that more down the road.
Okay.
Oh yeah, someone's asking, what was the announcement?
Oh, the announcement is the team, man. So it's Tim Witherspoon, it's Charles, the Cuban boxing specialist, and it's Xavier Biggs, man, like one of the best pad men in the world. So it's just like how serious I'm taking this. This isn't just like, oh, I'll do like kind of boxing and dip my toe. It's like, no, I got the best trainers in the world, and I am one of the most disciplined individuals there and very coachable. So this is legit and gonna be very serious.
Yeah, we're not messing around. And
no, we are not.
Guys, be sure that myself and Tim, we have David as a friend, as a student, and we are going to make sure that, come fight night, he is 100% prepared. We're going to leave no stone unturned, and we're going to make sure that, he spends his time wisely. His nutrition, his psychology, his adaptation, all of his abilities, manifest within that ring. And then people say, wow, who is this guy? Has he had any fights? And then when you read his story, you're going to see that he's been a dedicated athlete. So in a way where you guys will think that this is a hard task for us, it's not, because David's already been training. David just needs to transition to a sport now. That's the whole big thing about him. And we're going to help him make that transition. So he's a very unique athlete in the sense that he's been training to such a high degree, but he's never delved and committed to a sport. And when you love sports, sometimes you can find yourself in that situation. You just go from one thing to another. You're constantly looking for challenges, how to challenge your body, how to stay flexible, how to stay powerful, how to control your, if you see some of his kicks that he does, wow. I mean, I pulled the muscle just by watching. That's how that's, I was like, my back. Oh, god damn it. Don't do that again. So yeah, like I would say that it's gonna be a very interesting, and Tim's gonna lead the way in the training camp, because I'm not a two-time Olympic gold medalist. I mean, heavyweight champion. Tim has reached such a high level in terms of, understanding what it means to fight this person, and then get to this person,
We're gonna put our knowledge together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is why this team is so interesting. So you guys need to make sure that you are on these stream sessions with us, so you get the first inkling of how we're going to prepare David, and even for you to even put your own input in, because when this gets to a certain stage where we've got numerous boxing offers, wide exposure, you can actually say that you were in the first streams. So this is a really exciting team. I mean, we've got Tim Witherspoon right here. That should excite you enough. Like he fought Larry Holmes, for fuck's sake. He's a guy that dealt directly with Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno fought Mike Tyson. This guy could have fought Tyson, So like, this is just showing you how serious this thing is. It's not a joke. And you guys need to start respecting our authority,
Thanks, Charles.
They're looking forward to seeing the training stuff and everything. So how long are we going to be on here? This would be 2 hours, right?
Oh, yeah. I think we got out what we wanted, because I know you guys could talk boxing all day. So make sure you subscribe to Charles and Tim's channel, and I'll put those links in this video once we're done with this session.
We're going to go about 8 more minutes and make it like 1 o'clock. I mean, yeah.
Oh, whatever you want. If that's when you want the final bell. I mean, Brian, why don't you talk about some stuff? I don't know if you want to talk about World
Nobody
Combat
cares.
Con or anything.
Nobody cares what Brian's got to say.
Brian, you're the glue and the guy the magnet that brings us together, and the glue that holds us together.
Well, let's just say this. There's a lot of exciting plans. We're pulling together a lot of people from very different genres. We even have Vic Mignogna involved with this, #1 voice actor in the world, amazing movie producer, bringing a very different concepts to what we're doing. So when we have this thing on the cruise ship, the fights on the cruise ships that Mike Evans, we're going to bring content creators, people who are combat enthusiasts who have big channels, to include, believe it or not, anime and gaming. They will also be at these events that we're going to have with the Circle of Legends, with the World Combat Con. And we're gonna make a very different look, bringing all these old boxing legends, having seminars so people can dig into these secrets from the past. These were amazing minds, and a lot of that unique insight is lost. And this stuff applies to MMA. It applies to kickboxing. So, and the thing is, we'll also be expanding this into other types of fight genres. So we're looking at, bringing legends of bare knuckle, legends of Muay Thai, and the various other different arts that are out there, because the Circle of Legends will include all of them.
And also the military arts as well, like, obviously like Navy SEALs, SAS, all that type of training, any kind of combat training, whether it's more so to do with an ancient form or a modern form. I think that is in essence what we're trying to do. And obviously, whilst we televise and document, David's progression, you're going to see instances where we include other practitioners that, you know, are there for demonstration. And then once we have that larger exhibition of World Combat Con, that's where everything will bear its fruits. So yeah.
Yeah, in the world of combat sports, World Combat Con, like our vision is basically going to be like as big of a deal and as big of an event as like the Super Bowl. And obviously the first Super Bowl wasn't like what it is today. It like grew over time. But it's like it's going to be like that on a global level for like combat sports. You know, when Charles talks about demonstrations and stuff, there's already discussions, and I've like we'll have like Aikido demonstration from Steven Seagal, for example. I mean, I'm talking about like the best of the best guys at each of their respective fields. So this is going to be a quite the spectacle on so many levels, you know.
And then Dim Knock from who? Who is the greatest dim knock practitioner?
Oh, so you want Frank Dukes to do a live dim knock breaking breaks?
You got to be breaking like bulletproof glass for us, and that one bottom brick, boom. I mean,
yeah, why not? Why not? We'll put that demonstration on there too. But yeah, we're gonna have everything, man. Everything combat sports related, tying into like entertainment, like Brian was mentioning, animes, movies, all that kind of stuff. It all ties together. But you'll see. You know, the seed is planted. This is in your head. You're going to see this thing just explode over the coming years.
Yeah. So we have someone here called MD, and he's just politely asking, when are we going to have a fight? Just make sure you've got money to pay for the ticket. That's all I've got to say. That's all you need to worry about. Because we're gonna start working, and when we start working, you need to start saving. And when we tell you the fight's on, you need to pay for the ticket. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, MD, all I got to say is I'm probably more frustrated than anybody that we don't have a specific date where we could just lock down, because a lot of it's contingent on the K1 kickboxing match, which I just talked to the guy setting it up. He's in talks with the promoter. It's either going to be late November or in January, but he doesn't have that firm date, and he's frustrated, so he can't give me that, and I'm frustrated because I want that date set in stone. And if the K1 kickboxing thing, by the way, it's for a vacant world title, by the way. So either way, I'm going to have a belt on my shelf, whether it's that or if it's just boxing with Jimmy, because I didn't mention this earlier. He won, I forget what organization in the UK, but he got a light heavyweight title. He's got a belt. He's going to put that on the line if it's just boxing with me and him. So either way, I'm going to have a belt in this bookcase, and that's going to set me up for the massive fight next year.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
He wants to wait. Don't worry. If we want a sparring partner, MD, we'll let you know. Just leave your details in the chat. You might not be up at the level that we're looking for. So, you know, we'll audition. You can fill out your paperwork, leave it with us, and then we'll see to it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like any real talk, any sparring partners, I'm not trying to beat the crap out of you, and I don't expect you to try to beat the crap out of me. This is training. Sparring is training. It's not fighting. You know, we're not trying to knock each other out in sparring. We're trying to learn, you know. So just to put that out there so everybody's clear.
Yeah, you training now, but if you get hit with that shot, you just got to go down. Sparring is not a fight, but you got to land those shots, you know, on your opponent when you're sparring. And if he get caught, he getting knocked out. It happened. I've seen it before. I got hurt in sparring sessions. So it's not a fight like in the ring when the bell rang, but you train each other's skills, and if somebody lack on them, they're the ones going to get hit. They're going to get hit.
MD might want to come down to the gym and just spar with one of our amateurs and see how it goes. Unless you a fighter, man, I don't know. It's one of those bad YouTube videos where the guy goes in and challenges the coach or one of the amateurs.
Well, you know what's funny, Brian? People probably don't even realize. They should spar you, actually. I shouldn't even say anything. I think you would surprise a lot of people. quite a bit, like.
I don't know.
Okay, are we ready? You got anything?
So we got.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, Tomahawk is saying I did jump rope for 15 minutes and my calves were hurting for 2 days. Yeah, I mean, this is what boxing entails. I mean, I couldn't warm. I remember when I was training, I couldn't warm up. With
unless you jump rope, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I had to do it for half an hour, but
What?
half an hour was too long. Into yeah, I had to do like first of all, I started doing skipping,
Okay.
and I saw that going at a normal pace for half an hour is what I needed. But I found that it was just too long of a time to warm me up. So then I was
Okay.
like, I'm not gonna do skip rope anymore. I'm gonna do shadow boxing. So I literally just do like maybe 10 rounds of 2 minute shadow boxing rounds, and then just really try to put, because you know, like the thing is when you get complacent with any type of exercise, you know how to breathe well with it. You don't feel that you've warmed up. So it's almost like your warm up on the first session as a beginner is not going to be the same as your warm up, after 2 years of training, competing and stuff. And Tim, you probably experienced that yourself. Like the first day you came to box and to train when you were a beginner, your warm up was probably something very
Jumping rope,
basic. Yeah,
jumping rope.
exactly.
3 minutes,
Yeah.
6 minutes.
Yeah. And then as you progressed and you got to the point of, needing to fight Bruno, I'm sure your warm up was different then, and it was just your progression.
We always started out with the rope, jumping with the rope, get your
Yeah.
body warmed up. But there is other ways to warm up.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of different techniques nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You will need to spot hard though. Just got some people in the chat. I don't know. I think do you guys want to say anything before we leave, or
I'm just looking forward to every time we meet and talk. It's helping
yeah.
boxing, the boxing industry. They know that this fight is going on. They know that there's knowledge on this here channel.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody they're coming on as we get as the shows we keep doing the shows. More and more people come on, and that's exactly what we want. And
Yeah.
let's support David for his up and coming fight. He's
Yeah.
gonna look
Yeah.
good. Let me tell you, Charles, the first time I put the pads up, he
Yeah.
just looked like he in like about 10 years. It looked like he was already a fighter, you know?
Yeah.
Boxing
Yeah.
fighter.
That's
Yeah, I
it.
was really impressed. I was really impressed.
100%. 100%. I mean, that's what you guys are, privy to now. You guys in the chat, you're actually seeing almost like the behind the scenes of a training group. Preliminary stages. Obviously, when it gets a bit more in depth, I think we will have to keep some of the information away, because we're
Yeah.
gonna. I think we're probably gonna need to come on and do another um stream that breaks down the lack of skill that Justice, what's his name?
Jimmy
Justice.
Justice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy Justice has,
Is
because
he a
I think
kickboxer? Is he a kickboxer? Is he a kickboxer?
Well, he's an MMA fighter. He says his specialty is like more in boxing, like dirty
Oh,
boxing.
that's what I want.
So I mean, he could throw kicks. I mean, not like me, but that's why the kickboxing match would way more favor me. But regardless of if it's K1 kickboxing or boxing, my second fight and fights going forward are going to be boxing.
We
yeah,
reviewed his boxing skills, champ. That's that guy we broke down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he better get some more. He better learn some more stuff.
He
Oh
will, man.
my.
He will.
Okay, you better learn some more stuff.
Do you know what? I was like, this cannot be a guy that has ever stepped into a boxing gym and participated in a session, because the number of flaws, the openings that he had. I mean, you kind of learn basic things. He was doing none of those things. He was literally just
100%.
yeah. I mean, it was almost like he watched YouTube to learn how to box. And
I'll
even
ask him who his trainer is. I know he's been
please,
training with the guy for a while.
please. Oh my God. I would like to know who his trainer is, because what I saw there was like, we have this thing in the UK called white collar. I don't know if you guys have it in
Yeah,
America.
I fought on white collar, Charles.
Ah, nice.
Fought on white
Yeah,
collar.
nice. So we have it, and like I remember in the gym that I was training in before, they would get people to train for 6 months. How's it going, Feep Dake? Holla, shout out to you. And they'll train for like 6 months, and then from the pool of people that they're training with, they would match you with an opponent. So from the day one you start training, you see your opponent already, and the people within that kind of show would actually put on a reasonable show for a 6-month training camp. Now, they are only training twice a week. But if you're an MMA specialist, you're doing boxing at least a few times a week for almost a few years. So the excuse that you only that you're MMA and you're not specializing, the amount of hours that you have for boxing any period, irrespective of what you've done outside of that, is still sufficient enough for you to just hold basic fundamentals. Like when I saw Jimmy Justice, I was like, he should not be allowed to box because he looks so bad at doing it. He would do a disservice to the name boxing by participating in any boxing competition.
That's a strong word.
You would have to ban him for the sport for that.
Yeah, well, let's not completely kill his confidence. So let's point out a couple of the highlights. So he has fought pro fights. So he is a fighter. He's won fights. He's a tough guy. He's aggressive. So it's a good match for my first fight, which will, I'm going to knock him out, of course, but it'll lead into like the big fight next year. But he's not just like a dude that is just going to be a pushover, because he'll put up a real fight against anybody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to look the most technical or be the most sharp or necessarily win, but he'll put up a good fight against anybody. And he's fought professionally. So it's still a great match for me.
Well, you said he's aggressive. That's just exactly what I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that, because he's going to be aggressive without a defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Know it. He's going to be aggressive without a defense. We want to counter on. Don't worry.
I mean, shout out to Jimmy Justice. I don't want to knock him like he's completely rubbish, but I think that he needs to definitely, as a person that is looking to box, understand that putting on a good performance is part of pro boxing. Amateurs, you can get away with a bad performance. Your coach is going to find you a fight the next week. But you guys, when you're stepping into the ring, you want to, respect the fact that you've hired trainers, you've spent hours in the gym, and, do yourself something so that when you leave the ring, you can say, all right, I'm happy, regardless of the win, lose, or draw, I'm happy with my performance. And then once you know that you've performed to your best ability, you just then go back to the gym and increase that ability, so.
There's no overconfidence.
Sure, man.
There's no overconfidence. I'm just talking. There's no overconfidence, because you can mess yourself up.
Yeah.
I'm just confident. There's no overconfidence. We respect this guy that you're fighting, but you're gonna let him know that he's in the wrong ring at the wrong time when that bell rings.
Yeah, and I'll just leave with this, addressing two quick comments. Richard said Jimmy's a good dude. Yeah, I mean, I like him, but for me, he is a wall in front of my goals, and I need to smash that wall to get where I want to get. So, that's how it's going to be at the end of the day. It's not like I dislike the guy, but he's in my way. I'm going to smash him. Yeah. And then the other, and let's keep this in mind too. He did a professional bare knuckle boxing match earlier this year, and he destroyed his opponent, man. So the guy is a fighter. He is a fighter. And then one more comment from Tomahawk. Do you think you've gotten Jake Paul's attention? Do you think he's noticed you? No, I do not, but I will tell you he will, because after I beat Jimmy, then after I get my big fight next year, whether it's Bisping, Mike Perry, whatever, he would have to notice me at that point. And simultaneously, I'm literally going to have like 4 movies coming out. I'm literally like just going to come out of nowhere all of a sudden with all these movies, and some of them are like lead roles. So I'm going to get noticed, because people will like make comments, oh, who are you? You're a nobody. You're not going to get the fight. Well, next year, there's going to be a lot more attention on me, and the quote celebrity is going to grow because of the movies, because they're going to see I beat Jimmy, because I'm going to set up another big fight. So at that point, then yeah, I would assume and guess that the Paul brothers would actually notice me. But right now, no. But they will next year.
Listen, you'll beat Jake Paul. You'll beat Jake Paul in 3 months. I'm gonna tell you. I know
the challenge, Tim.
You'll beat him in 3 months with us working with you.
I get that. I understand that, but the challenge is not the Jake Paul fight. It's getting the Jake Paul fight. That's what's hard, and that's what I'm working on. It's getting my name big enough where he would actually give a shit about me, because right now he wouldn't. But see, that's what people don't understand. Like, you know, they're talking right now, but they don't see the things I'm building and all the stuff that's coming out of this next year. Then, you know, like, that'll get his attention.
You know, one of the things that I think that is definitely going to get the support, even if Jake Paul wants to ignore you, because he has that leverage. But I think one of the things that will put you in good stead is your performance, you know, so having good attention to skill, technique. You know, if someone sees you with the Philly shell in the ring, old school boxer, and you're completely dominating your opponent with the same style that Tim used, it's just going to look so crazy. It's like you're re-injecting, you know, life into an old art that we only expect boxers to have. But when you, as a martial artist, present that and you use it to beat your opponent, and you have the same confidence that Tim wants you to have whilst doing it, and you're not with your lead hand out, you know, you're very comfortable, you're blocking like 5 or 6 punches and coming back with something, you know, the crowd, the people will want to see you fight more because it's entertaining. And that's what will get the pressure for Jake to move, you know, because they would want to see, oh, Jake, how are you going to compete against this guy? This guy, we know his story. We've actually watched his All Access. We've seen the actual coach. His coach is a 2-time heavyweight champion that used the Philly shell. Yeah. And then so he's this guy looks like the real deal, actually, David. He opened up his whole training camp. We've seen what he's doing. You know, in terms of his work ethic, it's crazy. We're actually surprised that we've never seen him before. We're only seeing him now. Actually, Jake Paul, why are we even watching you? We should watch David. You know, that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. You know, and I think that is when you come from the perspective of not having money, fame, notoriety in your midst straight away, and you've actually dedicated yourself to learning the martial arts of several arts, and you've got practitioners that share your same ethic in terms of working and devotion to technique, and you've already got an engine. So this is easy for us. And you're not like a kid that we have to say, go to the gym, go. You're going to do that yourself. You know, we're not going to. Yeah. How many amateurs do you train, Tim, that you have to remind them to get to the gym on time and even come on a specific day and remember to bring their gum shield for sparring?
Well, the guys that I work with, they be ready. I be like in the room and they be calling with, you know, they be calling, yo, you ready? They be outside waiting.
All right.
And you already know the Philly shell. Okay, be ready.
You know what's another interesting thing too? Like, I don't think people understand how hungry I am, because a lot of times, like, your hunger subsides when you get older. I've just gotten hungrier, man. Like, it's crazy, you know, because I think just life and just the routine and the mundaneness just beats people down, and they just like accept where they're at and write it out in, you know, what I think is very depressing way to live, just write out the rest of their time, you know, whereas me, like, I still get that hunger of like a young man.
That's it.
That is positive.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I mean, Tim, they want to know if is that your original WBC championship belt you won in the ring, Paul Driscoll?
No, that's not it. And I told people before in the show before that when you win the title, you get the real original belt, right? And then they send you a duplicate after you lose the title. So you can keep the original, but they didn't even give me because I was feuding with Don King about my business and my
crazy.
business part. So they didn't send me a belt. So my agent from England, Kevin Baker, got this group to send me the WBC belt to me. So that is an original. That is a WBC belt, but it's not the one that I took from Greg Page or Tony Tubbs. That one, they take that and then send you a duplicate after you lose the title. So that's what happens in boxing. When you lose the title, they give you a duplicate and take back the original and give that to the next champion that wins the belt. Yep.
Nice. Well, guys, we should probably wrap this up because we're all going to be talking together later. Hopefully, Azar's back, World Combat Con stuff.
Mike Evans is
Behind
going to be on the call
stuff.
too.
What's up?
Mike will be on the call too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
Mighty Mike. Mighty Mike.
You know, in the chat, this guy called MD is so funny. He says, "You're acting like Tim never lost. I think you need to be humble about boxing. It's not a game or a show. People die doing this sport."
You're talking like it's like we went to war. We're going to war.
Yeah, it's like
don't tell me about that kind of stuff. Talk about
like,
he's gonna die, all that crap. I think he's a little bit of a troll.
I lost a whole bunch of times, you know.
Well, you know the thing about it, Tim, is the fact that the preparation that everyone has lost. You know, Mayweather has lost a fight before, whether it's amateur or pro. Everyone knows what it means to taste defeat, but it's what you do after that. Defeat literally just means that the universe is showing you that there's something you haven't taken into account. So if you pay attention to the universe, understand it, and that's the gym. That's why boxing is all about the gym. The ring, when you go to fight, is literally 1% of what you've done in the sport, you know, at any one time. Everything, like Tim, probably most of your craziest memories were just literally in the gym, away from the spotlight and the cameras and just when you were training. You know, that's when you probably found out so much about your technique. And I believe that a lot of people, like when you think about 100-meter runner, did he ever break the world record in training? Like, whenever anyone has ever trained,
I never thought of that.
That's the thing. And when you do that, no one sees it. And you just imagine the reaction of a 100-meter sprinter who breaks the world record in training. Because you have to push yourself harder in training than in the day of, and performance is a one-hit chance. You have to get everything right at that precise moment. And that's the thing about why psychology is so important, because when you train, you don't really have to have you can allow your psychology to wane, and then improve, go down, go up. And then one day it all comes together. But that's after maybe 5 days of training. But when you go to perform, you need everything to come together at that moment. So that's why, like, when I say look at boxing and understand that training is such a big thing about it, it's because you're in the gym for so long. When you go to fight, that's one day, but for 6 months before that, you're in training. You're knocking out people that that maybe in a real fight you probably might lose. You're doing things that maybe on one day it's so spectacular, you even surprise yourself at your abilities. You're moving, you're crazy, you're blocking so many punches, your counters are so sharp, and you're like, damn, but if I could do this on fight night, everyone will look at me and think, who is this fighter? So MD, you need to understand that we are humble, but the sport that we're in is like no other. Is something that we understand that the fight on the night is not even the sport that we're in. A lot of the stuff that happens that is so amazing happens in the gym, away from the the lights, the showbiz, the fame, all of that stuff. Most of the stuff that you is great about a boxer, you will never know because it happens not on the night of the performance, but during the time when they're training. So we are very humble, but we know what we've put ourselves through to be able to talk about boxing in the way that we're doing, and even what we're willing to risk for the sport. So it's you that needs to take a chill pill, buddy.
Oh,
That's great.
okay.
All right, champ.
Okay. Y'all ready
Yeah.
to roll?
Let's get
Yeah.
out of here, man.
I know y'all guys
Yeah.
got a lot of info, and I know a lot
Yeah.
of y'all guys looking forward to watching this show again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David. You let them have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for being here, guys. Tim, Charles, Brian. You know, like I
Yeah.
said, we're going to talk again in a couple hours, you know, but this was a great live. We'll be doing more of these leading up to the fight and obviously showing the training and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Okay.
All right. See you
Thank
guys.
you,
Right,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks for joining the show. See us next time.